This is my first YouTube recording straight from the app, straight from my phone, so I thought I would check it out, give it a go, and see how it works. So I will use this opportunity to give you a little bit of a background about me. My name is Kitty Howard. I live in Canada, and I live in a beautiful place called Muskoka. The reason I moved up here actually is because in 2008, I lost my only child during cancer treatment while he was in hospital. They told us, the doctors told us that we would be home probably for Christmas, but that did not happen. And after 3.5 weeks of treatment, my son died from infection. And I made him at that time a promise to figure, well, two actually, to quit smoking and to figure out how to live a beautiful life without him. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what it was going to look like. I didn't know how I was going to figure it out or manage to do it because I was so completely and utterly devastated. My whole life was crushed. My concept or conception of how the world is supposed to work was utterly shattered. You know, parents are not supposed to outlive their child or children, and that's what was happening. And I couldn't, the next day I was out trying to, I don't know what we were trying to do, get food. I don't even remember, but we were out of the house, out of the hospital, and I remember being really astounded that there were cars in the streets and lots of them, and that stores were open. I remember just not being able to comprehend why that was. Like my entire world just shut down. So why wasn't the entire world shut down? And my dear friend just looks at me and says, "Sweetie, it's because it's Tuesday, so things are open and people are going to work and they're getting things from stores." And I couldn't put that together in my head. It did not make sense at the time. And that kind of brain fog lasted for, oh gosh, I want to say that like the deep fog lasted for several months, but that whole like trying to figure out how the world's supposed to work thing took a couple of years, few years maybe, to be honest. And during that time, I tried lots of different things. I went to therapy. I saw the counselor that was offered to me through my physician's office. I went to a support group for bereaved parents. I saw a psychiatrist. I took antidepressant medications. What else did I do? I drank a lot for the first while, and it was all not helpful. And none of those things were actually helping me figure out how to keep how to keep my promise. They weren't helping me figure out how to live a beautiful life. And you do these things thinking that you're supposed to receive answers, that in support group something magical will happen, and it doesn't. And that the antidepressant medication is going to make you feel better, but it doesn't. Or that sitting down with the therapist or the counselor or the psychiatrist is going to provide you some answers on how you're supposed to figure it out and get through and, I don't know, just learn how to live again when you've had such a deep, impactful loss in your life. Like a piece of you has left this world, and how are you supposed to go on? So I ended up just fighting for that, fighting for my life, fighting to struggle through, fighting to want to live, because there were days I really didn't. And I did figure it out. And it took me a long time. And I want to make sure that you don't struggle the same way I did. And we're all going to struggle when we have loss. We're all going to feel grief and depression and pain and heartbreak and sadness and loneliness and a sense of unfairness in the world. And that in itself, sorry, there's no buts there, that is true and it's real, and it needs to be respected and honored and have space held for it. And then there is the after, and the after is the transition. The after is the fighting and striving and looking for reason to live and beauty in the world and maybe new purpose in life. Maybe your identity's been torn apart. Mine was. I had already separated from my husband. It wasn't a good experience. And now I'm not a wife. And then suddenly, another 2 years later, I am no longer a mother. So there was a lot of identity issues in that. And again, trying to work towards figuring out how to live a beautiful life that I could be proud of, that my son would be proud of me for. So I just kept fighting. I kept continuing. And I kept striving, and I would fall down a lot and I would crash a lot, but I would dust myself off and get back up and keep, working. It's like the stock market, and you crash, but it recovers. And as a human, we can recover and we can build stronger sense of goals in our life and a stronger sense of purpose and a reason to be happy. And I can tell you after 9 years, it's been 9 years since I lost my son, that I am authentically happy to be alive. I have been pushing forward. I live an interesting and challenging and wonderful life full of love for myself, which is new, and just on such a deeper level. And then a lot of love and patience in the world. And I look forward to connecting with other people. I look forward to spending time with my friends and my loved ones, people I care about. I am not shy about telling them that I love them deeply and I am honored to have them in my life. And I'm so thrilled for them to be a part of my world. And I hope that what I really hope to do is to give you ideas and tools so that you don't struggle with your loss as much as maybe you have to or have been. Does that make sense? I want to provide videos here, and there is a program if you're interested, and just to be able to, hey, have that answer to what next? How do I go on? How do I learn to live with this pain, with this heaviness? How do I do it? That it's sort of the answer to the now what? Now what do I do? Now how do I manage? How do I go on? Now what? I can tell you what, and I broke it down a little bit so it's easy because I remember how crazy that time was. Anyway, this is going on long. I want to keep these videos short so that, you don't, I don't know, don't lose focus, whatever. Anyways, this is my first practice video on YouTube, so I just wanted to be here, share some of my journey, tell you the reason I'm here, and I will see you soon. That's it. Bye.